In the Legend of Zelda timeline, one of the strangest evolutionary jumps happens between Ocarina of Time and the Wind Waker. The aquatic Zora, who once lived freely in rivers and oceans, appeared to vanish, replaced by a bird-like race known as the Rito. But why would a species perfectly adapted to water evolve into a species that flies? Most explanations say it's because the world flooded after the Great Flood. But here's the weird part. If the entire world becomes ocean, aquatic creatures should thrive. So why did the Zora disappear? Today, we're exploring a theory that connects real-world ocean science with Zelda lore. Ocean acidification may have made the flooded world unlivable for the Zora, forcing them to evolve into the Rito. First, let's establish the Zelda timeline. In The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, the Zora are a fully aquatic species. They live in rivers, lakes, and likely oceans as well. They breathe underwater, swim incredibly fast, and are perfectly adapted to life in water. But by the time we reach Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, the world has changed dramatically. The land of Hyrule has been completely submerged beneath an endless ocean after the Great Flood. The people who once lived on the land now survive on scattered islands. And the Zora, they're gone. Instead, we meet the Rito, a humanoid bird species that lives high above the ocean on Dragon Rouge Island. The strange part is that Nintendo essentially confirms that the Rito are descended from the Zora. In fact, one of the most famous Rito characters is Medley, whose design and musical abilities resemble the Zora sage Laruto. So the question becomes, why would an aquatic species evolve into a flying species in a world that is now mostly water? To understand the theory, we need to look at something happening in real oceans today: ocean acidification. When sea levels rise and the environment changes dramatically, the chemistry of the ocean can change too. In real life, the ocean absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. When CO2 dissolves in seawater, it forms carbonic acid, which lowers the pH of the water. This process makes the ocean more acidic, and that's a serious problem for marine life. Many aquatic organisms depend on stable water chemistry to survive. Changes in acidity can damage gills, affect breathing, weaken skeletal structures, disrupt reproduction. Even small pH shifts can cause massive die-offs in marine ecosystems. Now imagine what happens in the Zelda timeline. The gods flood the entire kingdom of Hyrule almost instantly. An event on that scale would completely reshape the environment. Forests drowned, soil and minerals washed into the ocean, volcanic activity from submerged land, huge atmospheric changes. All this could dramatically alter ocean chemistry. In other words, the new Great Sea might not be the same type of water that Zora evolved in. The Zora are extremely specialized aquatic creatures. They have smooth skin, external gill-like structures, and physiology designed for very specific water conditions. If the Great Sea became chemically unstable or more acidic, their biology could have been severely affected. In real-world biology, when an environment becomes hostile, species have only 3 options. 1. Adapt. 2. Migrate. And 3. Go extinct. For the Zora, migration may not have been possible. Remember, the original rivers and freshwater systems of Hyrule were buried under miles of ocean. Their old habitats were gone. So what about adaptation? This is where the theory gets interesting. Instead of adapting to the water, the Zora may have adapted away from it. Over generations, individuals better suited to surviving above water would have had an advantage. Traits like stronger lungs, lighter bones, better balance in air. Eventually, those changes could lead to an entirely new species, the Rito. There are actually several hints in The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker that support this idea. First, the Rito are not naturally able to fly when they are born. Young Rito must receive a scale from Baloo before they gain wings. Until then, they are essentially land-bound. That suggests their biology is still mid-transition. Second, the Rito culture still has strong connections to the past Zora civilization. Medley even awakens as a sage connected to the ancient Zora sage Larudo. It's almost as if Rito are carrying the legacy of the Zora after their aquatic world became hostile. Finally, the Rito avoid living directly in the ocean. They build their homes high on cliffs and mountains. If the ocean environment had become dangerous or unstable, this behavior would make perfect sense. So what if the Zora didn't evolve into the Rito simply because the world flooded? What if they evolved because the new ocean was no longer safe for them? A massive global flood could have triggered environmental changes similar to what scientists see today with ocean acidification. Water chemistry shifts, marine ecosystems collapse, species either adapt or disappear. In the Zelda timeline, the Zora may have taken a third path. They didn't just adapt to the ocean, they escaped it, transforming over generations into a species that could survive above the sea instead of within it. The Rito. And if that theory is true, it means the Rito are more than just a new race in Hyrule. They are the last surviving descendants of the Zora, shaped by one of the greatest environmental catastrophes in the history of the Zelda world. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you sticking with me. And seriously, thank you for clicking on this video. It means a lot. This is actually my first Zelda theory video ever, and I came up with it on my own. It's really hard to come up with one on your own, especially since there's so many Zelda creators out there that talk about the lore and theories and everything in between. So I may or may not come up with more Zelda theories. But I did have a lot of fun creating this video, so I may or may not have more videos to come. We'll have to see.